everyone, I'm gonna do a daily message. So I pulled a few cards. Whenever you come across this, even if it's not the day I posted, it still applies. So we have Healer of the Ages. Healer of the Ages. Sounded weird when I said it. 51. The Sun. Reverse. An action reversed. I'll show you. So we have these three. So right away, a message coming through is pretty clear that being that the Healer of Ages is upright and the Sun and action are in reverse, this Healer of Ages being upright is a really good sign because it means that time has finally healed something. And this is a type of healing that no one can do on their own necessarily. And it's not something you can rush or make happen sooner. It's really just a matter of divine timing. And it would appear that something that has been a long time coming, and it had an energy of you knew you did all you could do, or everyone involved did everything they could do, and it was just a matter of divine intervention. But it feels like this is now the time where everything that felt put on pause, that you didn't want to be paused, but you accepted that it had to be at the moment. It feels like those things are finally now ready to emerge. Even though they came up in reverse, it still means that they're right about to be here because the cards still did come up. So with the Sun, there may have been this overall dark feeling or dark energy that you felt surrounded by, but not just you. You may have just felt like everyone you knew was surrounded by it, or it was just this overall collective darkness or cloud. And it doesn't feel like an overwhelming evil type of darkness. It just feels more like a blanket over you, covering you, so you can't really see what's going on. You can't really tell. Kind of like a fog. You can't really see through it. But it feels like that's what this message is clearly saying. That's lifting, and the Sun is coming up. And I feel like, as you know, every night it's dark and then every morning the sun comes up, but this feels like it had been night for a long time and the sun hadn't come up in the morning like it was supposed to. That's the feeling of this energy. That's now, it's time's up for that energy. So the action card as well speaks about having to wait, but in that waiting period, understand that so much important work was done. There's never, because waiting is never just being still and doing nothing. And sometimes you can be guided to do that, but don't know what that is. But in general, waiting, it's required because there's a lot of work to be done in that waiting period. Just like a caterpillar waiting to come out of the cocoon, you know, it's not just sitting doing nothing. It's going through this whole transformation inside there. So this feels like a collective energy. So everyone had been doing this work, whether they realized it or not, because it was necessary. So it's reminding me of someone who is catching up on schoolwork so that or like when COVID happened and those who were in school, they had to do online school, but they had to still be doing school so that when the schools reopened, they would be caught up and be able to return. So it's not like in that whole waiting period that they weren't learning anything, because then they would have been really behind. So it's like that same type of energy. It's like you were preparing in the waiting period so that when, this finally happens, when the time finally heals and the action and the sun, it comes up and it's ready, you can be ready. So you weren't just waiting around doing nothing. You were preparing yourself for battle, is what I'm hearing, by being in battle. It's like you felt like you were in a battle. So it's not that you're preparing for battle, like you're gonna have to go and fight more. It's more just now you're prepared for this next stage. And you couldn't have been prepared without that necessary waiting period and training period that you underwent. So this feels like a final thing. So if you've been seeing repeating messages like the time is now, the time is up, now the sun will come up, anything along those lines, I'm not saying those messages weren't true, but they were maybe more speaking about specific, smaller circumstances. But this feels like it's speaking generally, like worldwide, like this is a collective, something huge has, and I made a previous video about this. It's a short video. Something has just shifted. It's a pick a card if you want to check that out. But definitely there has been a shift, whether you felt it or not, and this is a worldwide phenomenon is what I heard. But this is going to be significant is what I'm saying. It's not just going to affect one part of your life or just one circumstance. It's going to affect everything. You're going to notice this. You're going to know what it is. You're going to be able to pinpoint it, to know exactly what this is, and to see it happen. So this isn't a message of like what might happen, or you know, this little thing. I just am really being guided to say this is good, this is significant. So if it just sounds like another repeating message, it's not. Okay, also 7, sorry, I'm like losing my voice now. 717, 711, 711, 171, those could all be very significant to this time if you feel called to look that up. So sometimes I flip them back over and I get more messages. Okay, so for a majority of you listening, this has not yet happened in the physical. So this has energetically happens for everybody, but in the physical, you've not yet seen, you know, the sunrise. So for those who have not yet experienced this physical shift, like where things are actually completely different than yesterday, this is the dawn is what I'm hearing. So it's like that crack of dawn, that first light in the morning that breaks the darkness, or that breaks the night. So that's for you, that's right now the energy. Now, there's a smaller group of you who have already felt this, and your life has already changed, and you've already been given the call to take action. And so you know all of what I'm already saying. It's nothing new to you. It's just confirming. So another thing I want to talk about is the call to action. So in this photo, as I was saying, while you were in this waiting period, you were very tempted there were a lot of distractions trying to pull your energy away. Focus on me, think about this. And I mean, they were just constant, like being out, trying to have a picnic, and there's just flies and ants everywhere, you know? They were everywhere. But and every time you turned your attention back to the moment, back to what you were wanting to focus on, you were training that muscle within yourself to be focused. Like you're literally teaching yourself focus through having these distractions and learning how to not be affected by them. And so those things that were distractions, they didn't feel right. They were trying to pull your energy away, but they didn't feel like the path. They felt tempting, like, well, you know, just try this. But it's like, no, that's not, you already knew that wasn't worth your time or energy. and it's not the direction you want to go in. So my point is, you will hear, because you were patient and because you didn't take it was like presenting itself as the easy way, but it wasn't going to be easy. It was like just a trick. Like if you would have chose that way, it would have been way harder than what you did end up choosing. So the point is, if you will know when you hear the call. You will know. It won't sound like these little distractions, like, hey, what about this? Hey, what? Don't forget that. It won't sound like these little buzzing thoughts in your mind. It will be clear, it will be direct, but it won't be loud, and it won't be demanding of your attention, but it will be there. And so this call to action, it's going to be different for everyone. And for some of you, it might seem insignificant, like not this huge thing to do, just a small impulse or a small, hey, I need to go to the store. Why don't I do that right now? Like this simple, that's how it'll flow in. But that's the call that you listen to, not the one that, not all these little distractive thoughts. And the waiting period also was helping you to determine what is a distraction and what is a genuine call to action. So that's also what you were learning in this waiting period. So basically, you've done amazing. This is just confirmation, and be very expectant of what's to come. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.